Tuning in to the online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Dun, dun, da, da. Thank you for tuning in to Manhattan Love Story Season 1, Episode 2, In the Mix, On the Books, and In the Freezer.
It's a long title.
It's a long title.
And a random one.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it does perfectly sum up the entire episode in like 6 words.
It does.
So.
Well, luckily you have it to explain it to us because I asked before we started.
PhD over here.
Yeah. Before we get started, I'm Sterling Cates, and joining me today we have Kristin Strange and Jen Golden. I almost said Gen Golden. I was like,
it happened.
There we go. Well, we are finally together. So
we are.
Last week we had a bit of an off week, and next week there'll be 4 of us instead of 3 of us.
Yep.
So, so I kind of want to talk to you guys. First off, what do you guys think about the show so far? You weren't here last week, so I kind of want to know your first impressions of it from the pilot and what you guys thought of this episode. Either one?
I really love the show. I think it's super sweet and charming. I mean, I don't know how realistic it all is that they're like already in love after like 2 fake dates that like went awry. But, you know, I think it's super cute. It shows Manhattan in like a very, I don't know, kind of enchanting light.
Idealized.
Yeah, and it's just like a sweet show. I like the characters, and I'm kind of excited to see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's cute and sweet. I don't know where it's gonna go because it's about dating in New York, but they've kind of already paired them together as this is like the couple you're rooting for.
Exactly.
So I'm kind of wondering how it's gonna play out over if potentially it's going to go over seasons. How do you make it go over seasons when it's about dating in New York? Like eventually,
and 2 people, like
right, and they're obviously already so connected.
If they had like an ensemble cast where it was like a lot of people, you have like 12 people all kind of dating in different areas.
Right.
Yeah.
That would be more dating in New York, but they're just kind of 2 people together. So I guess it'll be interesting to see how.
Well,
it'll just be about
Manhattan Love Story. It's like about their love story.
Yeah,
right.
So
That's true.
I'm just curious where they're gonna go. They sort of hinted at like, I mean, we'll talk about the episode, but like, it's very open ended where their relationship's gonna go. So it could go so many different directions.
Right.
We'll see where it
Right.
goes.
So let's get into this episode. Last week we did talk a little bit about how it is just the 2 of them. So we do want to see them date other people and that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And we got a little bit of that this week. But at the end, we obviously see that they're going pretty strong still.
Right.
So, like, will they date other people consistently? I guess we'll just have to find out. But in this episode, he shows up at the apartment to see his brother. To me, it's that she's already, like, super awkward about it. And Amy's, like, trying to give her hints about don't be too eager, too available. I love Amy's character.
Yeah. Love.
It's so funny.
Who is she? Where has she been?
I don't know.
I love
Exactly.
how dry she is. And she's just like I want to channel her in me.
You
Like,
want to be her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
She's very awesome.
her confidence is amazing. I don't know, her male, like her choice in men to marry is like kind of weird, but
It is.
whatever
But
works.
she needed somebody that wasn't a strong personality.
Right.
Because she's so strong. So he's good for her. He's just follows her, does what she wants.
Maybe that's what I need.
And I think, yeah, maybe.
It's exactly what you need.
And I think that he's funny, but he definitely, I wish he looked a little more like Peter.
Yeah.
They're supposed to be brothers, right?
So odd, the family dynamic.
Yeah.
And their sister looks like Hispanic. She looks like she might be Hispanic.
She does look a little bit, and then you have Peter who's completely blonde.
Blonde and
and
blue-eyed.
Yeah.
And the dad looks like he was probably blonde, and he has blue
It's
eyes.
so random, the casting.
Maybe their mom, we'll just say their mom is dark.
Yeah.
And so
Well, I'm hoping she's blonde because otherwise, where does he come from? Or you're saying he would look like the dad?
Dad, yeah. I'm
Okay.
thinking Dad's gray now, so I'm thinking maybe he was blonde.
Maybe.
Maybe, I guess. who knows? I guess we don't know. And also, do we know where the mother is? If like is she involved? Maybe I guess we'll learn more about that as well.
Or maybe we'll find out that they were adopted, or that he was adopted, or someone was adopted.
It's got to be him because I feel like David and the sister look more like. Do we know her name? Did they ever say it? No?
I think they might have, but it kind of went.
Yeah. All right. Well, that whole storyline, I guess we'll talk about in a little bit, but it wasn't that intriguing to me.
Right.
But so despite Amy trying to give her the hints not to take the date so soon, she takes the date, excited about it, thinks things are going well, goes to buy new panties for the date, which is actually a necklace. Blah, blah.
That was cute.
Yeah, that was very funny. She sees Peter outside, and he's with another girl, obviously on another date. And she just goes right out there to them.
Would you have done that?
Without really a plan.
No.
I was just about to ask you guys, would you have done that?
No.
I would have just ducked. I would have hit the ground.
I would have waved and been like, okay, see you later.
Well, I don't think they were heading into the lingerie store by any means, so she could have very well just stayed in there and not be seen. But she just walked right out there. It didn't seem, and when she got out there, it didn't seem like she had much of a plan at all.
I think she was just going by instinct.
Yeah.
She saw him, and then he saw her, so she was like, "Damn it, I've got to go out there and say."
Well,
something,
I mean, and she had panties in hand. She was shoplifting from the store, but
and then,
and
my favorite part was her like.
Yeah, it's like trying to hide it behind her back. Like, what does she do with it? To me, it kind of, it was kind of a gut reaction, but it takes a lot of courage to do something like that. To go up to them and just be like, okay, I see you. I know you're on a date. And I guess she doesn't really need to say anything at all.
No. I mean, I think she's such an interesting character because she does seem like kind of more like, not meek, but like, I don't know, she doesn't seem like a strong personality, but she has a lot of like guts.
Yeah.
And I don't know. She's a smart girl.
Yeah, and what's interesting is that a lot of times with her, because her thoughts that we can hear, obviously, she says what she's thinking a lot of times, and with him it's really not the case so much. So it is interesting to see that she's pretty spot on with her thoughts. She's not thinking things that she's not really communicating. But so for me that's interesting. That does show a lot of strength, I guess.
Yeah.
And that she is being pretty forthright with what she's thinking.
I think she's super cute. She reminds me a little bit though of like Taylor Swift.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
she does. She does have that kind of girlish vibe to her.
She's super cute though.
Everything
she does, she's so cute.
She's like adorable and charming in her like a little weird way, but
awkward and quirky.
What I didn't like this episode, which I don't think I noticed in the first episode, was she's a little bit like more soft spoken. She was like, I felt like she was speaking like this.
You think so?
Like it was more like, yeah. And I was like, what? Speed it up.
Yeah. You're in New York now. You're not. Well, she moved from Atlanta, Georgia, so I can understand her.
But I mean, unless she lives in like the farms in Atlanta,
that's true.
That's also a city.
It's a big city, yeah.
It just seemed like she was like a little slow. I was like, were you tired
She's
that
in
day?
culture shock. She's in culture shock. She doesn't know how to adjust yet.
She feels frantic though, so I kind of want her to be like more like fidgety or jumpy or like something a little bit faster.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah.
I'm
like,
well. I'm gonna look for that next episode and see.
It kind of bugged me a little bit, but I love her otherwise.
Yeah. Then the worst part about when the confrontation when she goes out there is that he introduces her as his friend. And I feel like that's the worst. He didn't even have to say anything.
Yeah.
He could have been just this is Dana.
Dana. Nice to meet you, Dana. That's all.
Right.
And
then leave it.
And then when she walked away with the underwear that she was stealing, and he goes, "Oh, she's my friend. I'll buy it." He like emphasized that word again. It's like, okay, you're digging yourself.
Right.
Such a
and why are you going to pay for them?
Like, why are you offering to buy her underwear?
Why is it your responsibility? Well, he probably felt guilty for like being there with another girl and like the whole.
But underwear is not the way to make up for that.
And the girl he was on a date with, it made it even more awkward. Like, obviously she knows there's something there.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, are you buying these for a hot date? Blah, blah, blah. And she's like, great, this can't get any worse. I'm just going to walk away now. Steal these underwear.
Hearing the thoughts. I love that. That's my favorite part of the show, actually.
Well, that's what's making it different than any other, we're in New York and we're all dating, like any other New York show, is that we can hear their thoughts. I think that's what sets it apart.
Yeah. What I liked about this episode more so, I liked this more than the pilot.
Oh, really?
And I think because we kind of know who everyone is first. Like, at first I didn't even realize that was his sister he was working with. I was like, are they just friendly coworkers? I didn't really get it, but now we know more about them.
At first, in the pilot, I thought that she was flirting with him. And until I realized that she was his sister and she was just being playful. But I thought, oh, she wants him. She keeps talking to him about things.
She's going to be like the office crush, but then it's his sister.
Right.
Shocker.
Well, you could tell because they look so much alike.
Yeah, exactly.
Great job casting.
And the other thing I liked more about this episode is that there were less thoughts while they were having a conversation, and more so thoughts to fill in
awkward
quiet moments, like when she's shopping for underwear. In a normal situation we would have no idea what she's thinking, like, oh, this is so different from what I'm used to, blah blah blah. I liked that because she's by herself, we can hear her thoughts, which are funny, blah blah blah. But when they're talking, they're actually talking, and we're not stopping to hear their thoughts. I don't really care.
That's probably like so much easier for like an actor to play this part with like subtext written for you. Like you actually like if you're gonna look in a certain direction, like you know actually what you're thinking.
Right.
Like you don't have to make it up. There's really no creativity on your part.
Exactly.
Like you don't have to like create
they did all the work.
Right. Like your character storyline, you like no, you have it right there.
Exactly. So when she goes home, talks to Amy about she saw Peter on another date, blah blah blah, and Amy like automatically sets her up on Tinder, which I'm kind of surprised she knows so much about Tinder, considering she's married, but she knows exactly how it works. And
she did say that she was dating other guys until she got proposed to, so maybe she was on Tinder before.
I don't think it was around then.
Yeah, when
we don't know when she got married, though.
Yeah.
Did they say how long they've been together?
No,
I'm not sure.
Maybe they were our newlyweds.
Maybe. Maybe we'll just pretend that she just figured it out somehow. I don't know.
Well, it's not that hard to figure out.
Right.
Yeah. So let's talk about this in the mix.
Yeah.
Tinder, dating, this whole thing, which I'm really glad they included in it, because it is, first of all, we do want to see her trying to date other people.
Right. Yeah.
And I kind of want her to date someone that's not a horrible date gone wrong situation. I kind of want her to like have options. You know?
Like, I mean, and I think that probably will be like how this all plays out, because if they are still dating other people, and you know, some of them are going to go well, and then he'll get jealous, and it'll be a whole thing, and then he'll like somebody else, and she'll get jealous, and it will just continue on.
Right.
I have a feeling. Oh, I'll save it for predictions.
Oh, okay. And I also don't think Tinder is the best place to find, you know, that successful relationship that she might be looking for. And she doesn't really seem, I don't know, we were talking before we started if we've had Tinder, blah, blah, blah. And I have had it, but I like immediately deleted it, and then I downloaded it again, and then 3 hours later I deleted it again. I was like, this is not for me. I can't. Every single person is just the worst. I can't think. When you think it can't get any worse, it does. And so
have you gone on a date from Tinder?
No, I've never even met anybody in person, because they creep me out in the first 5 seconds I talked to them.
So I have. I was on a dating streak, and I was like, it's my business to find someone. So like I'm like strength in numbers. I'll just go out with everybody. It'll be fine. So what I realized was it was like another job, honestly, to keep up with all the conversations and actually have to like learn about people and remember. I literally had like a note in my phone. Like I wrote everybody, their names, what they do, anything I found out about them, because I was like, how am I going to remember any of this? I don't even care about you guys. You're all a bunch of strangers until you're not. And then
until you're not.
So I would go out with all these people, and I was just like, the only reason I even gave you a chance was because I thought you looked okay, and like you might have had something witty to say in your profile, or like you were cute.
Yeah.
And that's
or
so
like
not
you
what
didn't start the conversation with like, what's your favorite sex position?
Ew, I didn't know that people do that.
They
do that. That's why I deleted it.
I've never run into like that on Tinder.
Experience.
Yeah, but like I noticed myself swiping right. Swiping right is liking them. On people that were like, if I met in person, I probably wouldn't like them, and I was like, oh, this is giving me so much anxiety, because now I'm passing up on all these people that I might like in real life, and like I'm just like swiping left because I don't have any idea who they really are. I'm like, this is not for me. I'm never going to meet somebody this way.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I quit, and I stopped speaking
to
everybody.
But I do know some friends who have met boyfriends they've been with for a really long, for a really long time, and they met on Tinder. So, but I guess it's really just the luck of the draw with that.
It is.
It is good for just collecting. My sister says collect, and then select.
Oh.
Well, that's what I was trying to do, but I was like, oh, I'm so over this. Yeah. And I'm collecting like the wrong
type of guys. That's why you got to collect them and then select them.
It's so much work. Honestly, I like gave up. I was
we need to talk to your sister about this, because I don't really know what that means exactly.
It means you get like a good you just get a whole team of them.
A lot of matches.
And then you pick the ones that are the best that you date exclusively. It's kind of like
that's what you were doing, right?
It's kind of like your own dating show. You would get a whole bunch of them, and then you'd be like, I like 1 through 6. I'm going to keep them, and then I'm going to keep dating them. And now I'm deleting you. You're getting voted off.
That is so funny. I thought it was really funny how Dana said, I feel like a princess because I'm just like choosing all my different suitors who would like to date me.
And that's how it started for me when I was collecting. Yeah. And I was like, well, this is just really great. And then I remembered, well, they're doing this too.
Yeah.
And there's a million princesses out there, and they're all a bunch of princes in their minds. So, first of all, I will say, I don't know the difference necessarily dating in New York because I don't live in New York. I live in LA, obviously. But what I feel like Tinder does is gives you so many options that you don't really care about any of them, and you don't have to put forth effort with any of them because there's always the next person. If somebody writes me something weird on Tinder, I'm not going to give
you the time of day to figure out if you're actually weird or not.
Right. I'm like, you've already rubbed me the wrong way via text. I don't like you. Next.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I don't know you, so why am I going to continue?
Yeah, and I mean, you can probably speak on this more, Kristin, since you lived in New York. But in LA, it is kind of harder to meet people. Everyone's so spread out, and you don't.
It's a commuter city.
Yeah, and if you live in certain areas, and those particular type of people don't live in the same area that you're attracted to, that whole thing. So it's a little different. You're not just running into people the same way as you would.
Yeah, it's definitely different, but that's kind of how it is in New York. You can't live in certain places, but it is easier to find people. But then I also went to a fashion school, so there wasn't that many
options.
Available straight options for me.
I guess so. But anyway, so Dana gave it a shot, but then she had just a terrible date where the guy, well, first of all, some rando guy was pretending to be her real date.
I did like how he said, I saw an opening and I took a shot.
I mean, sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do.
Well, see, and that's meeting people in person.
Yeah.
That was his attempt.
Exactly. And what if he was actually pretty cool?
Yeah.
Like, I don't think that makes him creepy, but.
No, I actually respect his,
I respected his confidence.
He struck while
sure, I'll be Henry.
Yeah.
Sounds like a good idea. But then the real guy just comes in and swoops on in for the kiss, the shock and all, or whatever they call it. That is, if you read it off BuzzFeed, it's probably not a good thing to try.
No.
I'm going to look it up.
Yeah. Do we think that's a real thing? Or?
I mean, I would guess it probably is because it makes sense if, the way they explained it, but, does it really work? I'm sorry. If somebody I just met for the first time went in for the kill, I would be like, are you a crazy person?
It's not. Maybe no.
I feel like I have read an article before about on your first date you're always like everybody's thinking is he going to kiss me or
but not the first thing that you do.
Right, exactly. But
I had someone say to me okay, let's get this over with. But
to see if there's a spark there.
But it was toward the end of the date, and we already knew that we liked each other, and he was nervous, so he was just oh, let's just get this over with, and so he did it, and I was like, I'm going to remember that forever as the way you kissed me for the first time.
Did he say, let's get this over with?
No, he said that and he kissed me. So I was like,
so funny.
You're like, thank you for wanting to kiss me.
That was a little shock and awe because I was like, okay.
Yeah.
But cute. You were nervous? I don't know.
So funny. Well, Dana had a similar reaction I did. I immediately deleted, and so did she. So I don't think Tinder is going to be in her stars unless she re-downloads.
I doubt she'll do that.
Maybe we'll see an eHarmony. Maybe that's a better choice for Dana.
Tinder, that would be funny to make her profile, and Amy will make it, I'm sure.
She's going to have it decked out.
It was interesting that he said that when David told Peter that she had met them online, which is online dating the same thing as is Tinder considered online dating? Yeah, it's not like eHarmony and those other websites. It's an app. It's the same. It's all the
not
same.
In person.
Yeah. Right. Well, Peter said that seems pretty desperate. So obviously, it's way easier for him to get a date than it is for us single ladies out here.
Well, the funny thing would be is if he then goes on Tinder, if he finds out she's dating and he's like, I'm gonna up my mix. I also never heard that term, in the mix. I mean, I get it in terms of, in the mix of the rotation, and I've heard it more be, a rotation.
Right. Or, roster.
Right, a roster, exactly. Yeah. But, they called it the mix like it was, a thing. I was like, oh, maybe I'm, out of the loop with the dating terminology.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about their date, though, but that happened before she even got Tinder. Or, no, it wasn't. It wasn't before she got Tinder, but before her Tinder date.
Yes.
And she meets Peter for their date, and they meet in the park. They're walking to the place that they're going, and she kind of mentions, oh, don't worry about yesterday that I saw you on a date, blah blah blah, because I'm kind of doing the same thing, just dating
She was
around,
very
blah, blah,
cool
blah.
about it.
Yeah, she was very
but she
cool.
was. I don't think that she was actually cool. She was just trying to tell him, "Oh, I'm dating too."
Yeah.
It wasn't like I'm actually cool with you dating other people. It was, "Oh, I know you're dating other people, but guess what? So am I."
Yeah, well, I think she was taking Amy's advice
Yeah.
about not
Right.
being too available.
Yeah.
But at the same time, she didn't seem that upset about him dating. It sounded like she was more like
Surprised.
awkward in the moment and didn't know how to handle it. And also, she even said, she's like, I'm fine with him dating other people. I'm just not going to do that. Like, I'm not built that way.
Yeah.
And which I totally respect. She didn't seem to like go freak out mode and like girly emotional, like
Totally.
why is it-" like, first of all, you guys have been on one date and it didn't go so well the
You
first
didn't
time.
even like
Yeah.
Right.
dance, touch, kiss,
Exactly.
whatever.
So, and you both cried every time you hung out. So
Exactly.
I like respect it. She is a cool girl amidst all that mess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm glad you said cool girl. Have either of you read Gone Girl or seen the movie?
I saw the movie.
No, I
Okay,
want
so
to. Don't
but
ruin
when
it for
he's
me.
I know, you can't tell her now. You can't tell her.
God,
You have to
okay,
see it. Okay,
for-
that's your homework. That's your homework
Okay.
now. The next week.
I tried. I tried to get my boyfriend to take me on a date yesterday to go see that movie.
I'm just curious.
And the football game was on.
For those of you watching who have seen Gone Girl, the whole cool girl thing really stood out to me because I read the book like last week because I wanted to read it before the movie, before I saw the movie because I knew I wouldn't read it after.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, I already know what happens. No way I'm reading this.
Right.
So the cool girl part, that just stood out to me because that
Right.
is something that, she's just talking about how girls pretend to be this cool girl, but there's actually no cool girls that really exist that guys want. You know what I mean? That there's like
Right.
this idea of the cool girl who basically just does everything the guy wants to do
Yeah.
and likes all the same things he likes.
And also doesn't care when they do the things they do.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Like, doesn't care if you come to meet up with her and her friends. Doesn't care if you do all this stuff. And that doesn't really exist. Like, every girl pretty much cares about that kind of stuff. But
I
they
mean-
pretend to care or they don't. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Whether they care a little or they care a lot, they definitely care.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
not like no one just-
doesn't care about
at all.
anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Then you don't care about him. Like
Yeah.
if it's not hurting your feelings at all and he's doing all the wrong things.
Yeah.
That's not a great relationship.
Right. So, besides Gone Girl, I don't want to ruin anything for everyone else.
But go see it, because
but-
it was a must-see.
It was a must-see. It was phenomenal. Anyways, but I think that Dana actually is a pretty cool, going against what I just said, that cool girls, like, don't exist.
Yeah.
Because I think you ladies are pretty cool,
Thanks.
Yeah.
Well, you know what's funny is because she's cool, but in a not cool way. Because
Totally.
she
That's-
owns her not cool.
That's exactly why he likes her.
Right.
And he even says that at the end. And
She's an authentic person.
right, and that goes back to how we can hear what she's thinking, and she's also saying what she's thinking,
Right.
because a lot of times it's not the case.
Well, really, you just have to be confident in who you are.
Yeah,
Totally.
I think that maybe one of the reasons he likes her too is because if you see the kind of girls that he's dating, you saw the girl he was with.
Yeah.
She was like a model.
Yeah.
And the kind of girls that he was in the pilot when we saw him walking past girls, those were the kinds of girls he was looking at.
Totally.
You know,
Right.
the like model, perfect, symmetrical features, don't look awkward
Except
at
for the
all.
pregnant one.
Except for the pregnant one.
That was,
that was a
an
fluke.
anomaly.
Awkward.
But they all didn't have any kind of awkwardness.
Totally.
But maybe he found that kind of boring, so he kind of likes her awkwardness and finds it a little bit charming, and she has more depth than most of the girls he's been dating.
Yeah. And he's even said, he was like, you are the only person I know who isn't afraid to admit that they're a complete mess.
Right.
So, and I think he's kind of attracted to that
Yeah.
bit of, that makes her different, you know?
Right. And he can also be himself. Anyway, I've read a lot of, dating things, but they can be themselves if you're yourself and they feel comfortable. Just a note for everybody.
And she's
watching.
very much herself.
Yeah.
And she's already done so many awkward things in front of him that she can't really turn back now.
No, she cried.
Yeah. Well, he cried.
They've cried.
Yeah, they've cried individually, not about the same thing, but they
That's the best
can't really
part.
find balance there. But yeah, so they at the end they come to a thing where she's just like, dating isn't really my thing, and he's like, well, I date a lot. And they seem to be okay with that and accepting that. And then he tries the little shock and awe thing, and she thought, it worked
Yeah.
that time. Except they
But
dated.
they knew each other. It's
Right,
not-
that's not a first
Yeah.
date situation. They've obviously wanted to kiss each other the past 2 episodes.
If someone had shocked me by kissing me and I knew them and we just hadn't kissed yet, that would be cute.
Right.
Yeah.
But a shock and awe, like, oh, hey, nice to meet you.
No, let's not do
What's
that
your name
ever.
again?
Let's not let that happen ever.
No.
But let's get into the freezer part. So he, I was surprised that he was so open about his feelings about her.
Me too.
Was that weird to you guys? Like
because he doesn't say what he's thinking ever.
Totally, and exactly. And he doesn't seem like the type of guy, I don't know if this is stereotyping here a little bit.
Go for it.
But whatever. To be that open so soon, and he wasn't guarded at all with her about that. He was like, listen, I like you, like blah, 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 but I'm not ready for a serious relationship right now. I wish I could put you in a freezer and take you out in 5 years, which is a little weird, but I get his point. Timing is everything.
Exactly.
And if he doesn't feel like he's ready for a relationship right now, then I guess he shouldn't be forced into one. But also, you don't want to let this really great person
But I like that after, 2 dates, they're already talking about a relationship. Calm down.
Exactly.
But I do think that because his brother lives with her and is married to her best friend, that it sort of speeds things up because it makes things more real. You have to take it seriously when these many people are involved.
Because you're going to see her all the time.
Right.
You're going to run into each other more often. You can't avoid this person.
I feel like he pretty much was saying that I want to end up with you. It was like, I want to marry you one day.
But not right now. Maybe in 5 years.
I'm going to get into this relationship in 5 years when I'm ready to think that I can settle down and
But she shouldn't have to wait.
No.
Especially if she's a one relationship type of person.
Right. Mm-hmm. It's just so weird, though, that, I guess it's movie magic, but, that he likes her so much so soon, and they're very open about that.
And he didn't even want to go on a date with her in the first place.
I'm just confused how it went from, one successful date where they, went to the Empire State Building or the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah.
To this.
Well, maybe, he's an attractive guy, so maybe he's used to girls just going, oh, you're cute. Yeah, I'll do whatever you want. And
being ready to take that next step.
And being just all available for him, whatever he wants, because whatever, he makes a lot of money and he's attractive and he can pretty much get whoever he wants. And she's kind of not doing that for him, so maybe that's why he's so hooked on her.
I don't know. They could have, stalled that storyline, I feel like.
Yeah, I think it's also hard to admit.
Or is this show 8 episodes? Are they a full season?
I thought it was. I don't know how many episodes it is.
We'll see, I guess.
Maybe they sped through it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Let us know.
It hasn't been picked up yet.
It has not?
No, it hasn't been picked up for a full season yet.
Oh, it hasn't?
Okay.
Thank you.
Sure.
Good to know. All right, well, here we are. So I guess I kind of have to move things along just in case it doesn't.
In case it doesn't.
We got to have a closure point. But it's hard to admit to someone that you care what they think about you.
Yeah.
I don't know. For me, when he was like, you're the only person I care about what they think of me, and that's so different for me.
But why already? Honestly, put on your big boy pants. Why do you already care what she thinks of you?
Yeah, I don't know.
Not that,
do you think she obviously cares what... Did she communicate that with him, or was that a thought?
No, I don't think she has.
Because she obviously cares what he thinks of her, but I don't know if she was as open with her feelings as he was.
Yeah.
I feel like that's just a bold statement, and to make it I already feel like they're in love too soon. I need them to slow down. It's giving me anxiety. Calm down. It's gonna crash and burn.
Yeah. Here's the other thing. We don't know how long it's been since that Statue of Liberty date. Has it been a day, or has it been a couple of weeks? Are they texting? We don't know.
Right. I would like to. We know their thoughts. I'd like to know. Do they check in with each other, or are they Instagram friends?
Do they follow each other?
Right.
Yeah. Exactly. We need to know these things.
Have they ever taken a selfie together? I need to know that.
They've only
left in the dark here. We are just left in the dark.
I need to know some more about that. How did we get there so quickly? Slow down.
Yeah. I don't know. I do want to know how much time has passed in between the dates, and there's some little details. Make it a little more realistic, but I guess we'll see how that happens. All right. Well, is that pretty much it for the episode before we get into predictions?
Well, there was that weird storyline about we didn't even like that storyline.
All right. Well, let's just briefly chat about it. So the whole family is in this trophy engraving thing, which I find is very interesting for a company. You know what I mean?
New York.
It's so random that their family literally engraves trophies. And that's their business.
And the writers were like, this is a great business for us to include in our storyline. I don't know. It's random enough, I guess.
I'd love to interview the writers and be like, why?
Yeah.
I'm not that I'm mad at it. I'm more curious. I just need to know.
Maybe that's exactly why. It's to make us think about, wait, what?
It was so he could give her a trophy in the first episode.
Oh,
You could go buy one from a store. There's souvenirs shops
But it
everywhere.
wouldn't be important.
Wouldn't be as special,
Yeah,
I guess.
he engraved it for her.
And I guess it's just random enough for us to be like, wait, what?
Yeah.
And then talk about it right now.
Right, it's also like not very New York. I don't.
It seems like it would be a kind of Midwestern business that
Yeah.
transports out.
Totally.
They ship them to you.
Right.
Yeah. So it's the dad is the boss, head man, and then David, Peter, and
Sister.
not the sister, whoever, who was pretty
Unnamed
funny.
sister. She's
She is
cute.
cute.
I like her a lot.
She has those one-liners
Yeah.
that really make us.
And I like how she's
interested.
on him. She knows him like the back of her
Yeah,
hand.
she's like the voice of reason.
Yeah.
Yeah. Totally.
And they're
Someone
so
needs to be.
ridiculous, the two brothers, and they're in competition with each other, especially when getting these bonuses. It's bonus day.
Yeah.
And so I guess they like have a rivalry for who's making more, and she's just like, you guys are so ridiculous.
Yeah, and we find out that the dad really doesn't have any method to his madness.
No.
He's just trying to make them work harder for
And
more
it's
money.
so smart.
Yeah,
That
it makes
is
sense.
genius.
And I mean, I think that competition between siblings is very natural.
Yeah.
And
employees, like you want people to
Totally.
still be inspired to like do better, however you get them there.
yeah,
fine.
exactly. And Kristen, you called it when you said, "I bet the sister's making you."
Yeah.
And she
Yeah.
totally is. She's
Yeah.
obviously the favorite.
I loved how she's like, I both love and fear you, Father.
Yeah. And
So,
he's
yeah.
like, would I have it any other way? He's like, that's all I live for.
That's all I
Yeah.
want.
Well, I think I liked that storyline. It did just kind of like wash over for me because obviously
Yeah.
I forgot about it completely.
Right.
But we did get to know the family a little
Yeah.
more.
You had said though, you're like, I wish we could see more of Dana's life, like what happened with her job.
Yeah.
and
Totally.
Because they hated her at first. So.
Yeah. So if we get into
She said they still hate
predictions,
her,
like
so.
I think that we'll find out more about her job and that
Yeah.
sort of stuff
Yeah.
in the next episode.
Shall we
But,
predict?
yeah, let's get into those.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV.
This is finally in theme because it's October. It's almost Halloween. It's
Yay.
spooky.
My favorite holiday.
Yeah.
Oh.
So I'll go first. My
Do
prediction.
it. Take the reins.
I'm like,
I like
I
I'm
like
gonna
it.
go
I
first.
like the initiative there.
My prediction is very simple. I think that next episode they will have a date where neither of them cries.
Great.
That is a big statement.
Yeah.
And probably I'm on a limb with
Shock
that
the
too.
world, really.
Okay, I will throw some out. I think that one of them is going to actually start dating somebody and really like them.
Yeah. Dana.
And then I think Dana also, it's going to be one of those situations. And then I do think that like this story is going to start with them like going in that direction, but like veer off and then come back together toward the end of the season. Just because there has to be something that happens. They can't just date pleasantly and then get engaged and get
Yeah.
married. Like,
Yeah.
bye Manhattan Love Story, or like
Yes,
then
nice
it becomes
knowing
them
you.
married and like
family life.
like it couldn't be like it just can't be that peaceful and like
Yeah,
on the right
totally.
track. So I do think that will happen. I think he'll probably get really jealous. I think we're going to see more about like her job and stuff like you were saying.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
I completely agree with that. I definitely think we're going to see some more obstacles, hopefully some more dating. And since she is so monogamous with who she dates and gets serious pretty fast, I guess that's what happens. I'm not that way, so I don't really know, what happens in that sort of lifestyle. But, I feel like if she does end up liking someone, then it's definitely going to be a huge thing between who she decides. But I feel like at the end of the day, they're destined to be together, so we'll see. I really hope
They've
it gets
set
picked
it
up for
up
the
so
entire
that-
season.
I would
Now
love
we know
that.
I think it's a really cute, funny,
Yeah.
So cute.
like you were saying, it's a feel-good show.
It's a
It definitely
relaxing show
is,
to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Just
definitely just
sweet.
want to go home and have a glass of wine.
Exactly.
Pick your feet
That's all
up.
I could say.
Not have to think about anything too much.
No, it's almost like a Tuesday hug.
Yeah, thanks for that.
A
And have love
pre-hump day
story.
hug.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool.
All right. Well, with those said, where can we find you ladies on social media?
You can find me at Jen the Jew on Twitter and Instagram. Facebook, I'm Jenifer Golden. My website, jennifergolden.com. I'm also on Vine at Jen the Jew.
You can find me on Twitter at Kristin Strange and on Instagram at Kristin Aubrey Strange.
And you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Sterling Cates. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.